This chapter has to be in the top 5 most impactful moments of the series, and I think that the next chapter that's to come out next week might go even beyond this because of whatever Shigaraki is going to do with the quirk erasing bullets. But before I go any further, though, I would like to mention what you probably have already noticed. I have a new chair. It is no longer the gaming chair, and the camera is most likely positioned a little bit higher up than normal, which means that it's going to be a little bit different than the normal video positions, and so I want to ask you guys, how is it? Is it good? Is it bad? What do I need to change, etc.? Because, like, you know, the camera's higher up. Do I need to lower it down? Do I need to raise it even higher? You know, do I need to fix the seat in some way to make it look better with the camera? Just, you know, let me know in the comments below. I definitely am taking feedback. It's very important. And to kind of give clarification why the chair has been shifted, my old chair was kind of falling apart. I'm going to be honest with you, gaming chairs, they're garbage. At least the ones I've had, they're garbage. I don't like them at all. I think they're very overrated. Now, maybe there's some good ones out there, but at least from the ones I've had, and they're not necessarily, I didn't get cheap kinds or off-brand, they're kind of bad. So I'm just saying, like, I'd rather just have me an office chair. But okay, let's get into this week's chapter of My Hero Academia. So I guess let's start off with Gran Torino. I mean, I think that is one of the most important moments of the chapter. I think that's what everybody's going to be talking about because, I mean, literally days before this chapter officially came out, it was trending. It was trending on Twitter, and the character named Gran Torino was trending. And so you could kind of say I was slightly spoiled before this chapter came out. I didn't know necessarily what happened. I was spoiled because, like, I was aware that a character that is going on in this current arc of My Hero Academia, his name was trending, and I'm like, okay, something definitely happened in the chapter with Gran Torino to see his name literally trending. So yeah, spoilers. I got spoiled, kinda, but still, I did not expect to just see what actually happened within the chapter, and I think that's what's going to catch many by surprise, because it really goes to show that Horikoshi has some balls. Like, he really does have some big balls to do with what he has done within this arc. He hasn't just now effectively killed Gran Torino. He's done Crust and Exless. And I know you can argue Exless is more of a meme, but it's still very impactful to see how Exless died, Crust died. That was very impactful. What's happened to, you know, Mirako, you know, the bunny hero. You know, just seeing kind of all the different things that's happened throughout this arc, and potentially other characters that might have already died too, like Midnight, and, you know, seeing, you know, other heroes a part of UA that's potentially been erased thanks to, you know, Shigaraki's quirk when he kind of destroyed the entire city. You know, there has definitely been a lot of character deaths within this arc, and just seeing Gran Torino is kind of like icing on top of the cake. But honestly, this might not be the last character death of this arc, or something very major that's going to happen, because, I mean, the conclusion of the chapter. But before I get to that, let's continue talking about Gran Torino. So Gran Torino, his death is definitely emotional, for a lot of reasons, because at this point, we don't really know if he has any way to live. Like, okay, he's dead, yes, but we don't know if he's gonna have a final conversation, a final goodbye to Izuku and everyone else around him, or is he legitimately dead? Like, did he just straight up die right there? We don't really have any confirmation at this moment if he's gonna be able to say anything, or even be able to have some final words, or look at Izuku do something, or whatever. We don't really have that clarification, which makes this moment even sadder. But it's the point, though, is Izuku's reaction to the situation. It's one of the first times that Izuku has technically lost someone. Yes, he lost All Might. He, like, fell from power. He no longer is the #1 hero. And yes, Night Eye did die in the overhaul arc. But this is the first time that Izuku has actually lost someone that is very emotionally connected to him, attached to him. Because without Gran Torino, Izuku wouldn't be where he's at right now. He's learned a lot from Gran Torino, his fighting style, how to use One for All, and just seeing someone like that actually kind of like dying from, get completely impelled through the chest, get Kakyoin from JoJo, it's just like, it makes sense why Izuku is very emotional right now, and this is definitely going to spur him on with a lot of character development, because like I said, this is the first time he's really had to experience something to this extent, and I wonder though if this is going to be the catalyst for Izuku to potentially unlock Float, Nana's quirk, you know, Shigaraki's, you know, grandma. I do wonder if that's what's going to happen, maybe in the next chapter, a couple chapters, Izuku's going to unlock more quirks in One for All, and be able to fight Shigaraki on a more level playing field. But the point, though, is that Gran Torino, he is a very important character, and seeing him die like he did, It's honestly sad, but to be expected, because, let's be honest here, someone was going to die in this arc. I mean, we were throwing out Endeavor, we were throwing Aizawa, some even said Bakugo. It was definitely contenders all over the place. There was a lot of flags that was left and right throughout this arc, and when you saw what Izuku did when he approached Shigaraki in this arc, and he out-speed blitzed, Gran Torino, it was very clear that, Izuku actually was finally beyond Gran Torino, what he's currently capable of. And it kind of meant that Gran Torino lost his role, because he was always a speed blitzer. He was always someone that was able to rush in and be faster, or, faster than anyone. But since Izuku was able to outspeed him, get in front of him, and catch up to Shigaraki before Gran Torino did, it kind of meant that Gran Torino kind of lost his purpose. This was definitely something that was set up a few chapters ago. And when you see this, it's honestly expected to kind of see his death like it is. And it's very impactful as well, because it's just the connection that Gran Torino has with Shigaraki in the first place, his past with Nana. So let's get into that. As we know, Gran Torino, he was someone that was with Nana when they were trying to take down All For One, and Gran Torino most likely had a major part in talking Nana into abandoning her son, getting, him completely removed from the family register and all that, and just, making sure she never had a son. She was presented as never having a son. She was a sole lone woman and all that, and most likely Gran Torino and her were constantly talking about it, and they came to that conclusion. And those final moments before Gran Torino probably had lights out, he actually said to himself, Nana, did we do the right thing? He didn't say right thing, but he implied it. The way he was going about the conversation, he's like, did we actually do the right thing when we had you, abandon your son? He was probably guilty. He's like, we did create this. We created this monster right now. It's thanks to us is why this even exists, why this problem's even happening. Why we have a new All For One is because of our actions that we took for Shigaraki and your son. We didn't really know him, and he was all by himself. Society ignored him and created what he is now, and he kind of blamed himself. And it really just goes to show, though, that he didn't have happy moments in those final moments before Shigaraki put lights out. He had to look at the one he cared about, Nana's grandson, ending him, but on top of that, he realizes with his lights being out that they created this. They're kind of responsible for why he is like he is, and that guilt. And it's just whoa, it's touching. And it makes you wonder, though, how the, vestige of Nana within Izuku feels about this. Because we know that a piece of all of the One For All users are inside of, the quirk. And it makes me wonder if Nana within One For All somehow is seeing what's happening right now, getting to see what's going on. And I wonder how she's going to feel knowing that, Gran Torino died to Shigaraki. How is she really going to feel about that? And, how is she going to feel about her decision that she made? Because obviously she cared about her son deeply, but she did it for the greater good to try to stop All For One. And it just, it makes you wonder what Nana would say now after seeing everything that has just happened. Would her opinion change? Would she have done the same thing if she could have it all over? Would she, do something different? So many questions. But, okay, let's talk about, Shigaraki, what he did throughout the chapter, what he said. At the beginning of the chapter, he kind of reinstates what he's fighting for. And I think everybody at this point, if you've been following My Hero Academia, and actually reading the chapters and understanding what Shigaraki is fighting for, then we're already fully aware of what Shigaraki represents. He is literally like the antithesis. He is someone that completely goes against everything that the heroes want within this society, and he exposes it in a really good degree of how flawed the hero system is, how the society within the world is so flawed on so many different ways, and how they continue to brush bad things under the rug, and it continues to rot and stink until you can no longer ignore it anymore. And that's what he pretty much said in his own words within this chapter. It's something that we're already aware of, and Shigaraki's entire speech we've already known. And the reason why he reinstated it within this chapter was because this was the first time that the heroes actually got to hear what Shigaraki is fighting for. You gotta think about this. We've known it because of Shigaraki's character interactions, how he's interacted with the League of Villains, how he had his fight with Redestro, we know about his past, we know what his ideals are, but he's never downright stated it to the heroes. And so now that he has said this, it'll allow the heroes to understand why he is doing this. It'll allow them to really understand what he's trying to change. He's not just someone that is blindly going in trying to hurt people. He's doing it for a reason, for a cause. He isn't just blindly trying to demolish the heroes' society. There is actual purpose. It is incredibly important because this obviously will, resonate inside of Endeavor, resonate inside of Bakugo and Izuku and all the heroes there, because they know that they're all responsible in one way or another about why there is probably certain villains that have been created. Let's think about maybe the situation in My Hero Academia Vigilantes and how Endeavor's kind of treated this situation with Pop Step and, what's going on with the other heroes within Vigilante. Endeavor's kind of responsible for some things, and then you have stuff that's going on with, the whole situation with what Endeavor's done to his family, or you have stuff with what, Shigaraki's, grandma and what Gran Torino did to create him. There has been constant, depictions of how, heroes have created villains, how they continuously do things that create more problems. And, for instance, Toga, Twice, all of them are representation of just how Hero Society continuously rejects certain individuals, and there's just nothing they can do besides resist. And Shigaraki is basically the anti-hero society. He literally resists everything that they want. For instance, they want him to just go away. They want him to disappear and not exist. But obviously, he wants to live. He doesn't want to disappear. He doesn't think it's right that society just wants him to just up and go away. He's like, I have a reason to live too, and I want this to change. I'm fighting for this to change. So, Shigaraki is a brilliant character, and I think anyone that's kind of being angry about him reinstating those points at the beginning of the chapter didn't really understand why he said it. He was saying it to the heroes because they needed to know. Because it's not just him actually just thinking in his mind, he wants to let them know why he's doing this, his purpose. He's not just trying to be evil for the sake of being evil. Maybe there might be some change that is initiated because of him saying this, but then he does say, though, that even if you don't understand it, it doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, we are heroes and villains, and we're supposed to have opposing ideals. We're supposed to clash. We're supposed to not be compatible in any way, shape, or form. We're supposed to constantly be at each other's throats. So, I love that beginning segment, and the artwork really is amazing. Horikoshi went in deeply on that scene with Shigaraki just talking about his ideals. But, I guess let's talk about the final part, though, with Ryukyu popping up to try to stop Shigaraki from reaching near Aizawa and Endeavor, and what he did after that. So, to kind of clarify a few things, because it can be a little bit confusing by the way the panel structure was done, when Ryukyu jumped in, she had two hands back to back like this, and Shigaraki literally punched straight through her hand. You can literally see the hole he created straight through both of her hands to be able to now hold the bullets within his fingers to be able to probably flick them towards Aizawa or Endeavor, even Ryukyu herself. We don't really know, but the point is that he has the physical capabilities to punch straight through Ryukyu's entire two hands that are dragon scales. And let's be honest, I mean, we don't know necessarily how durable Ryukyu is, but when you hear about dragons within stories or anything, dragons are supposed to be durable. They're supposed to have really hard scales that you can't necessarily penetrate very easily, and seeing Shigaraki do something like that, just penetrate Ryukyu's entire scales on her hand, straight through both hands, is really telling about his strength. But on top of that, though, he is now in a position where he's able to flick the bullets, and there is nobody that can really stop him. And he can even flick it at Ryukyu, and it could cause her to lose her quirk, and she would be effectively powerless, which would result in him being able to flick another bullet, maybe at Endeavor or Aizawa, but most likely it's going to be Aizawa, unless it is Manuel. So let's get into that. Why would Manuel get hit by the quirk erasing bullet? Well, the reason for this is because you gotta think about who is technically keeping Aizawa from blinking. Manuel. Manuel is currently there right now, and he is using his quirk to be able to hydrate Aizawa's eyes, to make sure that he does not blink. And what's going to happen if Manuel jumps in front of Aizawa, or actually moves in front of Aizawa, and he gets hit by the bullet, which results in his quirk deactivating, and that means Aizawa no longer has his eyes being hydrated, which causes him to stress out, and then he blinks, and in that brief moment as he blinks, you have Shigaraki decimate everyone because he no longer has to worry about Aizawa's quirk in that brief little time frame. So I do believe that that's a couple of things that's going to happen. Most likely Manuel's going to get hit, which will result in Aizawa being saved, but it will cause him to blink and the fight will be prematurely ended. Or you'll have Ryukyu shot with one bullet, which will effectively be the main strength there, will be gone, and then he'll focus his target maybe on, you know, Aizawa or Endeavor. Endeavor's honestly the one that's doing a lot of damage. If he's able to get rid of Endeavor and Ryukyu, Shigaraki could effectively do anything he wants, but it's up in the air right now. We don't really know who's going to get hit by it. It's obviously likely to be Aizawa or Manuel at this point, but anything can happen. He has multiple bullets, which means multiple targets. We just don't know who he's going to hit. But he's obviously going to use him, and it's going to definitely hit someone because of the final panel of the chapter of seeing Eri pop up and very happy and unaware of what is going on, which that is something to talk about. So with that final panel, that effectively was giving us information to remind us of what those bullets are, which I don't think we need to be reminded of, but it also is to let us know that maybe one day Eri might be able to reverse the effects of whatever these bullets are capable of. You know, be able to fix, you know, Togata, be able to fix maybe Aizawa if he's hit by it, or Manuel, Endeavor, whoever. You know, maybe she will be able to reverse those said bullets' effects. Or, on top of that, it is to display that, once again, Eri is hurting those because of her quirk. We gotta remember what Overhaul said a long time ago. When Eri was first introduced, and Overhaul was kind of first introduced as a real villain, he said that Eri was someone that constantly hurt people, and so she should just take it upon herself to get hurt instead of hurting others because of just how her quirk is. She's like a curse. And in this way, that entire, like, viewpoint of what Overhaul said to her is kind of playing back once again. We're kind of seeing it again, that Eri's presence and her quirk being around is hurting those individuals, which is now probably hurting ones that are very close to Eri. If it hurts Aizawa, Eri's going to lose another parent or someone that she really cares about. She already has Togata that's been greatly affected thanks to her quirk, and now if Aizawa's hit by it, that's going to hurt her even more now, because now Aizawa won't be there to be able to control her quirk if it goes out of control. She will now have to effectively try to learn her quirk in a very dangerous way. So yeah, it's, these are good chapters. This is a good chapter, honestly, of My Hero Academia, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go next. But, I'm going to leave it at that, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and once again, let me know how you feel about the camera arrangement. Is it good? Is it bad? You know, I'm sorry if it doesn't look good. Once again, apologies. But if it looks good, also let me know. But have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy, everybody. Chibi out.